Okay, so welcome to the skate grinding tutorial. This video is going to be very simple, nothing too complicated or advanced or anything like that. We're just going to keep it to the basics. If you've got any questions or anything that I miss out that you're interested in, ask me and I'll do my best to answer the questions. First I'll show you what we're working with. We've got a brand new pair of Rise Support rental skates. So these are brand new. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the factory grind edge off, put a nice new one on there. This is the machine that we're working with. It's a Blade Master machine. It's pretty standard. You'll find these in pretty much every skate shop around the world. It's more favourable for, say, a hockey skate blade than a figure skating blade, just because of the size of the wheel. It's got quite a large wheel, and because of that, it's quite hard to get behind the toe pick. Grinding machines that are made for grinding figure skates, they've got a finer wheel on them for a start, and it's much smaller, so it's a lot easier to get right behind that toe pick there. But that being said, this is still a perfectly good machine, and you can use it for any skate. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a nice little radius on the stone. Basically what that means is we're going to use this diamond to put a 1/2 inch radius on there, and then that in turn is going to put a 1/2 inch hollow right down the center of the blade, giving us both edges. The tricky thing with sharpening blades is to get both edges exactly the same height, so you don't want one too high and the other one low, vice versa. That's probably the hardest part, and we'll get to how to do that next. But first we're going to dress the stone, so this is how it's done. You want to fire up the machine first. After that you want to set the radius to your preferred depth, which is a 1/2 inch. This is pretty much the standard. And then after that you want to just a small turn on the back to adjust, and then you want to lift the stone and then back down again. Okay, so once you've dressed the stone, the next thing you want to do is you want to see what you're working with. You want to test and see if both the edges are even before you get started, because if they're not, you need to even them up, and if they are right, it's going to make your job a lot easier. We're working with a brand new pair of skates, so in theory these edges should be absolutely fine. There are like gauges out there and gadgets that you can use to test the edges and see which one's higher, which one's lower. But because we're on a cruise ship, we don't have any of those gadgets. So instead we use a flat piece of metal and just eyeball it. Like I said, brand new pair of skates, so they're pretty much spot on. So the next thing is to get it in the jig, and we're going to start some grinding. Okay, this next part's going to be pretty noisy, so I'm just going to explain what's going on before I do it, and then I'll give you the demonstration. Basically we're going to test whether the jig's in the right place to make both the edges nice and even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 test patches. I'm literally going to touch the blade at the front and then touch the blade at the back, and then depending on what the markings look like on the bottom on the bottom of the blade will tell me whether it's lined up properly, and depending on the outcome you can adjust it with these 2 little levers here. And yeah, I'll show you what you're looking for with the markings on the bottom after we get them. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so I've done my 2 test patches there. Luckily we've got one perfect part and one that's not so perfect, so this is a good thing to show you. So at the front, that's what you're looking for right there. The almost like a perfect circle right in the middle of the blade. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really get much better than that. It's pretty spot on. And then at the back of the blade we have got this. It's like a little triangle pyramid sort of shape. So that basically means the blade is too high on the stone. And if I was to carry on sharpening it that way, I'd have one high outside edge, and then at the front it'd be two even edges. So ideally that's not really what you want. So basically what I've got to do is I've got to lower the back of the blade and then try again. So let's give that a go. Okay, so after that adjustment, we've pretty much got it. It's a nice straight line. There's no triangle sort of shape or anything like that. The only reason it's not a perfect circle is just because I pressed a little bit harder at the back, but that's perfect. It means the front edge and the back edge are exactly the same. They're both level. So all I'm going to do now is test the front edge again one more time just to make sure it's not moved, and then onto the grinding. So that's it, job done. If you are sharpening blades, you don't want to put any more than 4 to 5 passes on at a time. If you do need to put more than that on because there's a big nick or there's something that you're trying to work out, you want to let the blade cool down first, because if you don't, the blade will heat up and you're going to run into a whole heap of different problems. You'll get scorching and a load of other things you don't want. This is the finished product. Nice even shine on the base of the blade, no chatter marks or anything like that. You need to check for burrs as well down the side if there is any. You just want to take them off with another stone. I've seen people use razor blades as well. That's perfectly fine. That's it. Like I say, it's a very basic video. If you've got any questions, anything else, any other queries, feel free to ask me and I'll try and answer them the best I can. But that's it. I'm gonna leave you there. Be sure to check out next week's video, and you know, if there's enough questions about it, I'll make a more advanced one with better camera angles and whatnot. So yeah, see you later guys.